All right, Drew. So, believe it or not, we're actually going to talk right now about Anthem
Yeah, buddy.
and a recent kind of blog, I guess, that BioWare had put up.
Yep.
And it's got a lot of juicy information, I could say. And man, let's go back to Anthem when it first launched.
Sure.
And the hype that we had going around it, and the excitement for the potential raid, and some post-game content. And man, the game was pretty rough, and it still stands in a really rough spot. But
absolutely.
But man, what we have with this blog is it's got me quite interested. So
Well,
why don't you kind of start things off with that?
Honestly, the blog kind of goes on. I'm just gonna lightly touch over it all as a kind of a highlight here. Nate, you're the more of the looter shooter, but when it comes to Anthem, dude, I fell hard for Anthem, right? Like, I was so pumped for this game, and like a lot of us felt by the time it was all said and done, there was just nothing else to do. How many times do you want to kill the Titan Spider over and over and over again, right?
A tyrant mind, man.
Oh my goodness, dude, how many times did we kill that thing? Like, seriously.
Oh,
The biggest problem with Anthem was the fact that they just didn't have the content to carry a games of service and still just have that community behind it and the content behind it. And that's where it seems to struggle, but it seems to be having an update that's coming. No actual details as the release date, but a lot of details and going into what is coming for this update. And I think that's kind of where we are getting a little bit excited, Nate, because honestly, it's starting to look a little like one of your big games, Destiny.
yeah, man. Because aside from post content,
Yeah.
they really didn't have like a good foundation. Like,
No.
I don't even know. It's kind of hard to say. Like, they had a foundation, and I kind of see the direction that they went, but it was confusing. It didn't, making the synergies didn't really make sense. Some classes were kind of broken. Like, it didn't really mesh like the looter shooters that we see, like Division and Destiny and Borderlands, right?
For sure.
But, with some of the information that we got now that we're going to start talking about, it really, like you said, man, it's starting to look like Destiny. So I'll kind of go off with one of the first kind of categories or captions that they have. So we have choice and experimentation in your loadout. So all items are categorized to one of the 11 available equipment slots.
Nice.
Weapons are either primary or secondary, allowing distinctiveness in their role. Mods and artifact slots replace components. Manage equipment and abilities in your loadout screen. So, I mean, this all together, it just sounds like some good
up.
stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Honestly, the components felt tacked on. They didn't feel useful when we were actually playing the game. And that was one of the biggest downfalls. We want our Javelin to stand for something and to have a purpose behind it. And it felt like by the time we completed the game, my Javelin still felt exactly the same when I first started. Probably 4 hours into the game, still looked the same as where I ended the game. And that's a big problem, right? And that's one of the things that they're trying to fix now, is to have your Javelin stand out and be more for your play style. And then that way it can complement whoever you're kind of grouped up with and going out for the co-op part of the game, right? So
Yeah,
here's hoping, right?
Yeah, man, because as I'll kind of go further more into it. So they're talking about reliably create builds. So abilities are now unlocks and not drops. Play with the abilities you want when you want. Empower your abilities by equipping them with mods. Builds are defined by the synergies of specializations, abilities, and equipment. Inscriptions improve build synergies, but are no longer the primary factor.
Yeah,
So-
the loot drop in this game was a huge downfall within the game, right? That was the biggest thing.
Yes.
Is now they seem to kind of go towards more of this upgrade system where you're unlocking the abilities and stuff like that, and that gets even deeper as we kind of get down into the bottom of the blog here. But the biggest problem was when you're going out there and you're getting these loot drops. You didn't know what you got really when you got your loot drop, and then half the time they didn't really matter, Nate. That was the other problem. Is that I didn't need the same gun over and over again.
Yeah, man. Or like the same just ability that they just would continuously throw at you. So now
Yeah.
it's you know, it's like I imagine what I envision what they're gonna do is something like level 1 to 30. You unlock all your skills by level 30, and
Right.
then while you're playing this, you get different rarities of components and artifacts that kind of just buff yourself. So
Well, it sounds exciting, right? Because now they're
yeah,
moving
it does.
into, now they're going into this provide choice and progression through skill trees. Here we go, Nate. This is kind of what we've been looking for, right? Each javelin now can level up, awarding skill points. Skill points can be spent to unlock abilities, passives, and stat boosts. Each specialization has its own advanced skill tree. Oh man, like dude, like
Yeah.
right? This is where we've been looking
more like
for.
Diablo and
Oh.
even like Paths of Exile, maybe. I don't know. This is the RPG kind of side that I'm
Yes.
really looking into.
Like right now, my javelin is close to max level, and you're up even higher than I am.
Oh
And-
man, I grinded the crap out of that game.
Well, exactly, but that's all we did was grind. And in a lot of these games, you do grind. That's the purpose behind the game, but it just didn't feel rewarding. Here, now that we're going to this whole skill tree system, man, this is like a complete revamp. And I almost wonder why they're doing this, Nate. I think you and we talked about this off screen too, as to what's going on and why do they want to do it this way instead of just come out with Anthem 2 instead of just Anthem 1.5.
Well, like let's look at Fallout 76. I've been playing that a lot lately. It had a terribly rough launch.
Yeah.
But man, they had a recent interview with Todd Howard and he was talking about it, and man, they have content coming in December that's free, and then more content to come next year, and I imagine even maybe the following year. And
Right.
again, it's all free. And you want to know what Bethesda did? They realized that they had kind of made a mistake. And
Yeah.
this is their way of saying, like, sorry, and maybe this is kind of BioWare's take. I really hope that with this huge overhaul, we get, like, a 5-hour to 10-hour, like, a 5-hour at least campaign with 20 to 40 hours of post-game content.
Well,
That's what we need to have with this, because, for me, it's going to be great to revisit Anthem again.
yeah.
But to be able to want to grind past just the main story again, that maybe like maybe I'd play through it again. That's a long story, right?
Yeah,
So,
no.
but anyways, if
Yeah.
they need to have some more stuff with
Absolutely. They're
with this
looking.
overall.
They want to expand on the fantasy and the play styles of each javelin. So that's another bit of their focus, right? Is to get us the javelin suits that I think we all desired at the beginning. But okay, overall, they do this whole skill tree thing. They give us all the javelins, and this is everything that sounds promising and honestly should have been there from the beginning of the game.
Of course.
But they've noticed their mistakes, and this is what they're going back to fix. But like you said, Nate, if there's no new content coming with this, then there's no point in us going back. I'm not going to go back just to grind out and play the Tyrant Mine again and again and again, right? When you get bored of these things, man. So you get them over and over and over again. I can only shoot a spider so many times until I want to move on. And the problem is with Anthem is that we've all completely moved on from the game.
Yeah. So what I'd really like to see is, like I said, that 5-hour chunk and some post-game content, and then maybe they release that in the fall time, or maybe even spring rather, and then in the fall they kind of early fall they drop the bomb saying Anthem 2 with even more improvements to what we created with Anthem 2.0.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So
Yep.
that's kind of what I hope. I really liked Anthem, and I think that it deserves a sequel if they do what they're showing us right now.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Nate. I loved Anthem. Like I said, I felt hard for Anthem, but just in the end, it just didn't have enough to carry us forward. I think what they're doing here now is getting the mechanics ready for Anthem 2, but they're giving us a light taste of what's going to happen. And then once we get it all back into Anthem, then you're excited to go for that next. Okay, when's the next Anthem coming? When are we going to see Anthem 2? Right? So get everybody back in who's bailed out like we have, and get us thirsty for more, and then drop that Anthem 2 is coming. And then I think that's where BioWare sets themselves up for the future and to carry the game along in the next generation ahead of us here.
Yeah, man. Like, I would love to just have, Destiny's in my rotation every year, sometimes a few times a year.
Sure.
Division's in there. I would love to just slap Anthem into that series and just have a full kind of year of whenever I feel like playing a looter shooter, I got options.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hit us up at insidethegame.ca and let us know, are you looking for Anthem? Or
Are you still playing Anthem?
oh, that's the other thing too. Are you playing? Or are you just done? Or do you want more?